Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 54 of the KISS Army Nation podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Pasquale Veri.
And I am Claudius Per. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Now, you may not know the name Per Forsberg yet, but all KISS fans have heard of the KISS Symphony, right? Well, in this episode, you're going to hear the story of the Tuba Playing Swede who moved to Australia and ended up playing with KISS. Per Forsberg played with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and is our guest on the KISS Army Nation podcast. Per, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks, Per. Thank you so much. For being in the show. It's an honor, really. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
We also want to thank Christopher Berryards for initially contacting you, Per, to set up this interview, right? So
yes.
So he's a good friend, Christopher?
He's a good friend of mine. Yes, we're both from Torsby in Sweden, same little town in Sweden. Yes.
There you go. So as mentioned in the introduction, you were described as the tuba playing Swede who moved to Australia and ended up playing with KISS. So right there, we knew that this was a story that needed to be told. No question about it.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, well, I moved to Australia in '99, and this concert was in 2003, as you know. So I was here for a few years before then. Yeah.
Okay, so let's begin the story. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your background, and your love for the tuba.
Yeah, well, I'm from Sweden. I grew up in Torsby together with Krille Börjas, and I was there I moved to Torsby, maybe I was about grade 4 or so, and that's where my tuba playing career or whatever started. So I did piano and things before that, and guitar, but then I got into tuba and it kind of took over.
Okay.
I started maybe grade 6 or so at the music school in Torsby. This man, Kjell Nemark, was my tuba teacher, and things led to things. And I got really into it. I worked for a little bit as a music teacher in Torsby, as a classroom music teacher. But then I got more into tuba and played much more and got into, playing symphony orchestras and things like this. And I studied in Stockholm for a while at the Dalarö Folkhögskola. It's a school out on an island in Stockholm, in the archipelago of Stockholm. And I studied there and played quite a lot. Played with the Stockholm Youth Orchestra for a while and things like this. And then I went up to northern Sweden, Piteå it's called, and I studied up there. And my tuba teacher then was Carl Jakobsson, who's an amazing tuba player who he was in Stockholm. So the school, which is about 1,000 k's north of Stockholm, they flew me down for my tuba lessons in Stockholm, at the opera in Stockholm. And we got the exchange student from Melbourne coming to our school in Piteå, and she was there. She was a percussionist. She was there for 6 months, but then she wanted to stay another 6 months. But the flute player that she exchanged with couldn't stay. She couldn't stay in Australia. She had to go back to Sweden. So I said as a joke almost, I said, maybe they want a tuba player instead. And they probably do, so then we started everything with audition tapes and all these things and a lot of paperwork, of course. And then I ended up in Melbourne. I was just going to go. I went for a tuba conference actually in '99. Steve Rosset from Sydney Symphony had his Tuba Mania conference, and I was going to go and just partake in that, and then maybe stay for 1 term or so in Australia. And I'm still here. This is '99, so it's a while ago.
Nice story.
Yeah.
So before playing with the band, I want to know, were you a KISS fan?
Yeah. We all listened to KISS and kind of wanted to be like them, of course, when we were young, home in Torsby. And I played in some bands in Sweden. We had the band Dr. Krall. It was our band, and I played keyboard and harmonica in that band. So not really KISS music, I guess. But yeah, we played a lot. We won some competition over in Sweden, Rockjunte. But yeah, so that was good fun. We spent a lot of time playing music when we were young. And I guess when you aim your ladder against playing tuba, you don't really think I'm going to play with KISS one day. That's not really, it's more for the guitar players and right. But I was the lucky one, I guess, to get to play with them. Amazing experience. So yeah.
So what kind of exposure did you have to KISS? I mean, did you see them in concert? See them on television?
I saw them on television. I never saw them live before that. Like, I wasn't a big fan. I listened to the music, of course, and I saw them on TV and things like this. Never saw them live, but yeah, they were very kind of famous in Torsby. Like they were very big amongst us young people. Like Krille especially, I guess he was a big fan already then. And this is when we were in grade 5, 6, maybe 5, 6. He's 1 year older than me, I think. So he was a little bit older. Krille went away and studied guitar in Karlstad, which was the big town near us. He went away for a couple of years and went to real music school kind of thing. Okay. But yeah, so I had some exposure. I listened to the music, I like the songs and things. And it's funny with this actual gig, like I was a casual player, as they say. I played for Melbourne Symphony. My teacher, Fabian Russell, he was the tuba player of Melbourne Symphony. And together we put together like a training orchestra for young people, for young students. And I helped him a lot with that. Like there was a lot of work. And Fabian said one day, he said, "Oh, Per, I don't know how I can thank you for all this, And I said, well, I know. How you can thank me for all this.
I can tell you how.
Yeah. And because I knew that KISS was coming and doing the KISS Symphony. So, and there was long before then. And he was, yep, no problem. That's fine. So that was great. Yeah. And I remember getting another call that like someone, it was like a brass quintet or something going on a tour to Hong Kong or something like that. And they were like, "Oh, this is in March, do you want to come and play? Do you want to come and play tuba with us?" And that's a good gig. Like, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm going to play the KISS Symphony then. Like I can't commit." And so I knew before the other players knew kind of thing that I was going to do it. So I was, very excited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. Per, when we were, discussing with Paz, having the interview with you, and most of the time we go through a set of questions that we would like to ask, our guest, and this one, the one coming up next. That's a very interesting one because I see a reflection of myself. I moved to Canada about 17 or 18 years ago. From Buenos Aires, Argentina. And then when we knew that you moved to Australia, this is a very interesting question. So it must have been a bit of a culture shock, for you moving to Australia. So can you tell us about your experiences and why did you decide to move to Australia?
Yeah, as I said, I was in the northern Sweden, so we just that winter, 99, we had a super cold winter in Sweden. There was 46 minus, as in Celsius, so that's super cold. And I came to Melbourne, I think it was the 8th of December, 99, and it was actually almost 40 plus. So, so it was a very big difference, just weather-wise, of course. Culturally as well, like I'm from a small town, Torsby. So in terms of concerts and tuba playing, I mainly played in the school band kind of thing, from there. Of course, I studied in Stockholm and got some exposure, a lot of exposure there. And then I started up in the north of Sweden, Piteå, and got a lot of exposure there as well. But coming to, a very big city like Melbourne, I think, I don't know how many million people live there, but the culture is amazing. And I studied at the Victorian College of the Arts in Melbourne and had lots of, there was a lot of playing, heaps and heaps. So very, very lucky to be in that kind of world and playing a lot of amazing music. So, yeah.
So happy with the move? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. now we moved away almost 2 years ago. Now we moved away from Melbourne. We live up in the Northern Territory now, which is again very different. This is about 3 hours south of Darwin, and Darwin is the northern point of Australia. So we live out in nowhere pretty much. I don't know if you can see, but back here we got a little garage behind, and we built a music studio in there. Where we only for practice. My wife plays trumpet as well, so we allowed neighbors, so we had to. But in there, it's totally soundproof, so you can practice whenever you want. So that's good.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
So who would have known, that move to Australia would then lead to you playing with world famous KISS? It's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you sort of touched on it before. Can you give us a little background in detail? What were the circumstances which led you to play with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra?
So early on, when I had lessons with Fabian, he was like, you should do a casual audition, they call it. You should come and audition for the orchestra, and then if I'm away or sick or anything, you get to play with the Melbourne Symphony. And that's a big deal in the tuba world. For me, that was a big honor to be asked to do so. So you go in and you audition in from, I think it was the principal bass trombone player, Eric Clay at the time, Fabian Russell, and the whole trombone section, I think it was, and also some managers from the orchestra. And you go in, you prepare your, orchestra excerpts and things like this, and you do an audition. And then if it's good enough, you get on the list, kind of thing. So you can be a stand-in or sub player. So I did some shows, and I with them before. Of course, I did other things with Melbourne Symphony. So I was on the list, kind of thing. And then that led to, as I said, with this favor or this, how he could thank me. That was to play with the KISS Symphony. That was a big dream. Like when I heard it, I was very keen straight away to play with him. Of course, I mean Melbourne Symphony has done many amazing concerts with Elton John, and there's been other things that they played. A lot of artists that come through to play with Melbourne Symphony. But KISS was very special, of course.
Oh, you've played with other musicians through the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra?
I done something. I didn't do the Elton John one, but I done some things. And then also, I've been very lucky as a tuba player, being at the right place at the right time. I got a call one day from a friend in Sydney, and he rang. He said, "Oh, Per, are you in Sydney on Tuesday?" Yeah, I could be. I was in Melbourne, so 8-hour drive or something. Yeah, I got a gig for you. And he didn't say anymore. And then I got an email, and there was actually Hans Zimmer. So we did a big Hans Zimmer show in Sydney. So
right.
I drove up to Sydney to do so. I put 2 tubas in the car and drove up and did the show.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Wow. So, and when I first came as well, that was also in the beginning. I played for the Olympic Games in Sydney, the opening ceremony. So I've been very lucky.
Quite impressive.
Fun things. Yeah, it's different for a tuba player from Torsby. It's not.
Yeah.
Per, this is so interesting and fascinating. Basically you walked us through the set of events that led you, the initial meeting with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. But what do you remember about the first meeting with KISS and the orchestra, and which would later become, the KISS Symphony? So there was a lot of excitement, I guess, in the orchestra.
It was a lot of excitement, of course. Everyone was excited. I remember one thing that was a bit funny. We didn't get the music beforehand. Normally when you prepare for something like this, you get the music maybe some days at least beforehand. You can prepare your music. We didn't. We had rehearsal, the whole orchestra together straight away, and you got the music on the spot, kind of thing. And the thing was, the KISS walked in. That they came to the first rehearsal. So you weren't prepared. You were like, "Oh my God, here they are!" And here we are. We had to read this music and play it, well, straight away. There was no preparation. That was one funny thing I remember. So, So
So you had no
That was
idea. You had no idea what kind of a set list you were going to play, what kind of songs,
No,
or anything.
no, nothing. No, and all the arrangements, of course, were made for this occasion. So we got them on the day. There was no leading up. There was no extra,
Wow.
And I mean, they're so amazingly big. So you wanted to be very good, of course, straight away. But there was no preparation. Like it wasn't. Yeah, it was fine, but it was very full on. And everyone, there was a big bus, of course, in the orchestra. The orchestra had a lot of young people, and even the older people in the orchestra who've been there for many years. That I think they got, roped into all this. Like they felt the excitement in the whole kind of thing.
Right.
I think there is some YouTube clips on YouTube where you see the rehearsals and all this as well, and you can feel the bass in the room.
Okay. There. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the first time you guys played together, the symphony with KISS, did it just instantly work, or did you think this is never going to happen?
Well, there was some things like all the way up until the actual concert. I remember we having, what was the conductor's name? David, Yeah. I remember we had kind of a crisis meeting just before the gig kind of thing, because it didn't really lock in, like there were so many. I mean, the orchestra was probably 60 people or so or more. And we didn't really lock in with Peter Criss. Like it was, there's his way of playing and his way of, we had to follow that kind of thing. And at the same time have a conductor at the front to try to follow. So we just decided like we have to go with him. That's what it is. We can't do right or wrong kind of thing. It has to be their way, of course. So there were things that we had to kind of fix up, all the way until the actual gig. So yeah,
I can't imagine the pressure of that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, full on, and a big hall of people, screaming fans, of course. Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to get into more detail about the actual show in a few minutes, but obviously you met all the members of the band. Can you tell us? Can you tell us what you remember from each of the members of KISS? We'll start with Peter Criss. What are your memories of Peter?
Yeah. Of course, we met him like briefly, but we met him. We walked around in the. I don't know if you've seen photos there. I got about the piano at home here. I got a big photo with KISS.
Yes.
And so I met Peter first. Like I walked up to him and had a little chat, and I remember him being very, very nice and friendly. We took a photo and had a little chat. I remember Gene Simmons saying, we're from the same section. We were both the bass players of the band, kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Gene Simmons being the bass player and me being the tuba player. There I am, young.
Lovely.
And actually CD. And then Paul Stanley, he was funny. He took my tuba and we took a photo like this, with in front of the drum kit there. So that's a bit special.
Those are pictures you saw on your Facebook.
Yeah. And also I got these plectrums from Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. So that's a bit of memory. And I took these photos myself from like, they started up just as a band,
right. At the beginning,
them playing. Yes, I stood in the audience and took some photos here myself. And then, we put it together for a bit. That's a nice memory from that. But yeah, they were all very friendly and approachable. I remember thinking that they were very. I actually don't know how old they are. Sorry, right now, but this is 19 years ago. So I remember them being very, very kind of healthy, very energetic, and a lot of energy and good energy. Yeah. There was no kind of no bad things in the band. They were very friendly and approachable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were in their 50s at the time, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Now, I didn't see a picture of you and Tommy Thayer. Did you get to meet Tommy?
I didn't actually speak to. Oh, yes, briefly, like saying hi, kind of thing, walking past him, and yeah, but no big conversation with Tommy. But yeah, he was there, and he was great, fantastic.
Okay, because it was supposed to be Ace Frehley. He was supposed to play in the symphony.
Yeah,
and then Tommy was added last minute.
Yeah, yep. No, he was great, fantastic. Yeah.
Per, we went through some of the prep, but exactly, do you remember what went into the preparation for making the KISS Symphony happen? So for instance, how did you personally prepare for this event, and all of your colleagues, part of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra? So what was the preparation like before even KISS arrived to Australia? So you guys, what happened? So how was it?
I mean, there was a lot of PR things going on, of course, with the orchestra and preparation that way. Musically, I don't think it was very much preparation in the orchestra because, as I said, there was no music handed out to the musicians beforehand. I don't know if there was kind of no arrangements were sent out beforehand.
Okay.
Right? We got it on when we walked in for our first rehearsal, which was like a 3-hour call. That was the first time you saw the music kind of thing. You had to read it on the spot kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And had you worked with David Campbell before, or?
No, never before. He was amazing. He was very good and held the whole thing together, and always very calm, very nice to the orchestra, and he was very well liked and amazing arrangements, of course, and very, very good.
Nice. And what did you guys? How many rehearsal, sessions did you have with the band? Maybe 3, 4 before the show?
3 or 4. Yes, something like that. So not that many. There was at the ABC where Melbourne Symphony normally rehearses, and then of course at Rod Laver Arena as well. We had at least. It was only on the day of the concert. I think it was like a big sound check,
Mm-hmm.
But it was at least 1 3-hour call that day before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we all called in very early because, as you've seen, the whole orchestra had painted faces as well, which took a long time to do, of course. So they had makeup artists done behind the stage, fixing all that up, and they had a system. You didn't choose who you could be, but they had a system in the whole thing.
So how did you personally prepare for this particular event?
I mean, for me, of course, it's a big thing to play, even just with Melbourne Symphony. Like you always want to be your best. So you do spend many hours beforehand. You want to be in top form all the time, of course. But sometimes life takes over. But then when you actually know that, okay, in a week or in a month's time, I'm going to go and play with Melbourne Symphony, you prepare a lot, of course. You stay in shape and you practice a lot, so you sound good. So so I guess it was just normal preparation in that kind of way, but you want to sound your best, of course. Mm-hmm. But of course, there was a little bit more excitement, like KISS. So
of course,
that was So you want to be extra good. Yeah.
Now, speaking of which, I'm sure our listeners would love to know, what was it like being on stage with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and KISS? Looking at that crowd, it must have been incredible.
Very different crowd for Melbourne Symphony,
True.
Like people sitting in the audience, clapping in the right places and being very polite, that was very different, of course, in these circumstances. It was just really amazing. I remember I had quite a few friends in the audience, like my sister from Sweden, Elin, was there, and I had a good friend, Ola, who also was there from my hometown, Torsby. So they both come over. Just by chance, Ola was in Australia, but my sister came, extra kind of thing. So that was amazing, having some friends and family in the audience. And as I said, they started out just the band first. The first half was just KISS. And then second half, they did a little set with a string ensemble, just strings. Yeah. And then the big finale was a full symphony orchestra, So double winds, 3 trombones, two trumpets and tuba, and I think 4 percussion players and full string section kind of thing. So big orchestra. So
how was the sound set up? Could you listen to the band actually with all the explosions and all of that?
Yeah, we had monitors, of course, and I think I can't really remember, but I think we had headphones as well. So we had you would sit with one headphone on and then one off, so you could hear your colleagues properly and tune in properly, but then hearing the whole thing, the whole mix in back as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Per, we know that through the grapevine, actually, a fly on the wall told us that something pretty incredible happened to you on the day of the show. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah. So at the time of the concert, my then wife, my ex-wife now, but my wife was 2 weeks overdue. She was very pregnant. So people even said, "Are you sure you're going to do this gig?" Like, yes, I'm sure. It will be fine. So I actually had a friend in the audience, David, who was ready to kind of jump in if worse came to worse, or not worse, but if it had to be, he was ready to step in for me, who was already stepping in. So yeah, Olivia was pregnant, and then my daughter Emmy came the next. I came. It was a big night, and they had this big reception after the gig, and I thought, wow, last chance to have a big party before you become a father, And I thought, no, I take it easy. I took it very easy, didn't drink almost anything. And then we were going to some other after party with my sister and Ola, who was there, And I said to them, look, guys, I just go home. This was probably about 1 a.m. or something. I said, I just go home. You guys go, have a good time. I take the taxi home. And I took the taxi home, and I came home and told about the concert to my wife, and she laughed so much the water broke. So we had to go then and there.
No
that was
way!
Yeah,
oh
yes.
My goodness!
So off we went to hospital. I just had to clean my face, and
Wow.
had this makeup. Yeah. So then the next day, Emmy was born.
Oh my goodness!
That's amazing.
Yeah,
What a
yeah,
story.
they're very amazing. We're gonna call her Paulina or something, but we didn't.
Right. So you took off the makeup before going to the hospital?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, too bad.
Can you imagine, getting into the hospital?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what the after parties or the events after the symphony were like?
Yeah, so there was one, like, with the band and with the orchestra. This was near the venue, of course. So there was like food and drinks there you could stay for, and then so I took part of that for a little while. But yeah, I guess a lot of speeches and all the preparations that gone into this. The management of Melbourne Symphony were very happy, and they. Yeah, I can't remember so much, but it was like a big party. Often they have these kind of things after big gigs, like so.
And of course, the band was there, right?
Yeah, they were there and to party with all. Yeah,
nice.
So very special. Yeah.
So, do you remember if there was some kind of feeling of let's say of comfort, of happiness, that things went really well, so everybody was pumped up and happy with the result?
I think in the end, like as I said, we had a crisis meeting beforehand, but it all worked out, kind of thing. I think everyone was like, yes, we did it. That was good. That was great. Awesome. And I remember as well the KISS. I don't think for the musicians in the orchestra there was like double pay for every call was double pay. So that was, everyone was happy about that, of course, so that's
right. So Per, so now 22 years later of this fantastic and unique event, can we ask you, so what is Per Forsberg doing? What are you doing now?
So we moved up here. I teach music here for the NT Music School up in Catherine. It's a little country town out in the Northern Territory. I do some playing. I travel around a little bit here and there, go and play. I play with Darwin Symphony up here, and I play brass ensembles and things. There's always music on the menu, kind of thing. There's a lot of playing. I play a lot together with my wife, who's a trumpet player, But these kind of really big gigs doesn't happen very often. So
of course, right.
Yeah.
And I want to know, do you still keep up with KISS? Do you know what's happening in the KISS world right now?
I kind of listen in sometimes. I'm not that in, like I don't ring them like there's no contact like so, but I keep up. Yeah, I read about them, and I know that they're still playing and still going on. I know that Gene Simmons has some solo act thing going on and things like this. Yeah. But there's no contact as such, of course.
And have you seen them in concert after the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra? Did you get a chance to see them live?
They played in Melbourne a few times after this, of course. You know, they were there for the races. There was a big race in Melbourne where they played, and I think there was talk about them coming even up here, like to Northern Territory it was last year or something, but I think Corona
was
put a
canceled.
stop to that, of course. Yes. So I don't know what's happening, if they still are coming out or what's going on. But
yeah, you know, as part of the they are doing the end of the road, a tour, basically the final tour, and the dates that were supposed to happen in Australia, that they've been postponed for quite a while, due to the pandemic. But now they have been confirmed. So they're gonna come to visit Australia soon. So you should check them out.
Yeah, definitely. That would be good, actually. Absolutely. Yeah.
So we talked about, being on stage and what it was like being on stage with the symphony orchestra and KISS with the fans in front of you. And you said that the fans were, different than the usual people that go and watch a symphony. What are your impressions of the KISS army, of the KISS fans?
Oh, very, very loyal, I think, and very proud of being so. Very, very, and I think it's a mutual respect from the band to them as well. Like that they, of course, that they have made KISS what they are, of course, and people traveling a long way to come and see them and support them. So, yeah. And
before we close the show, anything you'd like to say to the KISS fans listening to the show?
Oh, it's impressive. It's very, very impressive how hard, they how much they like them and how, that's amazing. And it's over such a long time as well. I mean, they were big, was it 72 or something? I was born 74. Yeah. I was born 74. So it's been going on for a long time, it's amazing. So that's very impressive and yeah, very loyal.
Per, as closing remarks, I would like to say that this has been a true honor to have you in the show. This is a very, special episode for us. I think it is one of the few times when, a musician that took part of that big event in history, we're having this interview and, is able to share the experiences with the fans. So we wanted to thank you so much, for making yourself available and, share your fantastic experience with the band and with the orchestra. So thank you again very, very much. And, it would be great to talk to you again quite soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks for the opportunity. I think everyone in this or like who did this event, we're all kind of proud of it, of course. It's a historic moment, So,
exactly.
Absolutely. That's a big thing they're done. So yes, but thank you for the opportunity to be on your show.
It's been a pleasure.
No, when Christopher told me about you and the possibility of interviewing you for the show, we got so excited. I mean, it's like, oh my God, imagine the stories Per could tell us, And my friend, you did not disappoint, and you are truly a part of history. You were part of an amazing event, and hats off to you. And it was such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Per.
Thank you. So, to the KISS Army, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, never stop rocking. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify, Automatic, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to make yourself heard. Leave us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. See you all soon, KISS Army.